So I watched the trailer for Radio Sky and it was really good. I feel like it had a lot of emotion within just that short amount of time that I seen the film. So tell me, how was that process in writing this film?
Writing this film was actually it was not as challenging as most people would thought because I've been writing for a long time, and the reason I wrote this film very contained is the doability of it. I wanted to write something that I could execute, given that my past scripts I've wrote them to where it requires more funding. So this script was done very tailored for execution.
Yes, it was really good. So how did you come up with just the plot and did anything in your life inspire you to write this story?
I've always been infatuated with stories that takes place in one location or at least limited locations from 12 Angry Men, a phone booth, to The Rope. So most of my plot lines on all my scripts spreads its wings as the story evolves.
So how did you balance, you were the writer, the producer, the director, and the actor in this. So how did you balance playing all of these roles?
I call this film my freedom project. Because in an industry where you always have to depend on others to give you opportunity, I wanted to put myself in a way, in a position where I can start to eliminate that. The first thing I did was before production, I printed out three versions of my script, one for the actor in me, the other for the director in me, and the third a copy for technicalities, notes with my DPs and other crew members. I made sure that before production, I had learned my role entirely to where when production came and we were on set, I was like on autopilot. I didn't have to think about what's my line so that I could free up the actor in me and focus on directing. Because as you know, when you're on set, you have so many interruptions that comes from different people on set, unrelated to directing. The other thing is I rehearsed with all my actors for several weeks. I even rehearsed with my DP to make sure he understood the vision so that when we got on set, we were not wasting time, given that we were very limited in budget.
Yes. I can tell there was a great quality, just like I said from the trailer, great quality. And how was it working with Dennis Haysbert?
I would say it was done as a professional. I don't think there is anyone that could fit the role, that role specifically more than Dennis. This is Dennis played the role of Joseph Finley, who is the director of communications at NASA. Given his resume, his voice, his stature, I mean, the man played the president of the United States on a 24. He's played a military figure in his show, The Unit. So to come back and play another government authoritative figure as an NASA director of communication, it fits him perfectly.
It
So
did.
we were happy to have him in the story.
Yeah, it really did. I'll be excited to see the entire film, but I could see in those parts that he really embodied that role.
Yeah, it was Dennis. You didn't need to do any character work.
And how was working with Desiree Ross?
Desiree Ross, that's one of your own, huh? From Atlanta.
And
Desiree began her journey very young, so we rehearsed for a couple of weeks. So, she's got the it factor. She's got the it factor. So I think if she continues her journey, she'll be well. It was wonderful working with Desiree.
yeah, it seemed like you picked a great cast. How was it narrowing down those people? I know it didn't. You said that was just unanimous, but how do you come up with the cast for any of your projects?
One thing that I stand for is quality. I think, especially nowadays, when you have a lot of people who are not necessarily in the industry who can produce quality, production quality. You have these influencers, TikTokers, they all produce quality. So I think producing quality nowadays is the standard, is the norm. And that's something that I aspire to do with everything that I do. It's from crew to cast, I made sure I picked quality. So when it comes to casting, we had a full-on audition and picked the best candidates.
Mhm. Yeah, you definitely did. So,
Thank you.
how important is it for you to show, people of color in your work?
You know, this film goes against how they usually see us,
Mm.
people of color. You know, it's not your typical film, and that's the thing. You know, I take pride in write original stories that show black folks differently, that show black folks in positive roles. Um, that goes against the stereotypes. You know, we gotta, one thing that Dennis did like about the script when he signed on is the script because it tells a different story. You have black folks in NASA, you have black folks in space. And what's interesting on set, we were having challenges getting extras. At one point at NASA, we had a NASA full of black folks. I was like this, so we pretty much laughed because it was just black NASA. So all my stories are centered in black leads, but showing them in an intelligent way.
Yes. And that is important. Like you said, I feel like the norm that how we are perceived is not the best way. So it's always cool to see people of color in positions that we can dream about. So that's always good to see people of color just highlighted in a good way, positive way. I love that. So were there any other inspirations in your life, growing up to lead you into going into film?
You know, I was born in a country called Cabo Verde, Cape Verde, on the west coast of Africa. Came to the U.S. as a teenager. When I realized that in life one must be something, that was the thing that came to mind. There was nothing else. It feels like the inspiration didn't come from me. The inspiration was assigned to me, and I just kept pursuing it.
Yes, I love that. I feel like I was just talking about that earlier with my cousin. Sometimes we have to push ourselves to go where we need to be.
Yes.
I'm glad you did that. How did you feel when you heard that Radio Sky would premiere at the Los Angeles Pan African Film Festival?
I was very, very happy. We were looking for a great platform to premiere the film, and we found it because it's a story with derives surrounding black cast, stories about blacks in strong positions, written by me, somebody who's African. So I think it's a great platform to be so that we can show that story to a black audience at that festival.
Yes, I love that. So for those that before they see the film, what would you want them to get from this film?
I would say the film is about human connection. It's about struggle. It's about isolation. It's about governmental distrust. And if you look at what's happened in society at the moment, specifically America, you have governmental distrust all around the country. Isolation. You know, the character of Mac is isolated. You have people running away from ICE who are isolated. But then you have an ordinary character who, regardless of his struggle, being on house arrest, he finds the room to reach out and help another human being who's stranded in space. So that's those are the themes that I would like the audience to connect with. That regardless of what you're going through, human connection is the priority. Even though authoritativeness and laws may reign within us, but at the end of the day, we gotta stick up for human beings.
Right. I love that. So if you could tell your younger self one thing, one piece of advice, what would you tell your younger self?
I would say just go for it. To just be, I'm already positive and bold. Maybe be more outgoing and just live life. You know, one of the reasons I did this film, I always say to myself, you only live once. It's something that we overuse, we take it for granted, but it's very deep if you think about it. You only live once. What's the fear? So I think that's the thing that I will continue to say to myself whenever I come to challenges, whenever I feel fear or doubtness is you only live once. Go for it.
Go for it. I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you. That was all I have for today. You know, it was great hearing your story and learning about you. And I can't wait to see the full film. Well, I hope everything goes well in the week of the premiere. And I know y'all have a lot of things going on in LA. So hope you stay busy and also stay safe.
Thank you very much, and hopefully you'll get to see it, and maybe one day we'll connect.
Oh, yes, of course. We'll definitely stay in
Thank you.
touch. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.